Next, we'll continue to create small images of the things in the outer circle, what I call the stuff. So we're going to make small pictures, and I'll just go ahead and do that for each room, and you can get a sense of how simple it is, and it just takes a little effort. And you can use the ones that I'm creating because I'll include those as a PDF as well. So there we have our items all drawn up on the grid paper. So when you get this downloaded from the PDF, then just make some photocopies, and then you can play with several versions or add more of something or tape a few things together to customize for what you need for your project. I have a little bit of an extra tidbit of information about doing the photocopying onto transparencies. I did one on each of our printers, on the inkjet printer and the laser printer, and I wanted to show you how the difference comes out. So you may have to go to your local print shop perhaps to get it done. So you can buy different types of transparencies specific for certain copiers, but I just had a box that I was using up, so I just thought I'd show you. The inkjet just puts a little bit of ink on the surface of the transparency, so you can see if I give it a little rub, I can actually rub it off, and you can see the print quality is not quite as clear. So on the laser printer, it's more solid. I can rub on it, and it is it's heat bonded with the transparency, so it's a little stronger. However, if I want to, I can scratch some of it off, so it's still somewhat on the surface. So I wanted you to be aware of what it is that you're creating when you print these out. So I would recommend the laser printer, and you'll find it's just a better quality. Now we're going to color them in. And I have a little tip for you that after you've colored them in, you can also photocopy them onto transparencies and cut those out. And you'll find that they might be more enjoyable to use as our moving around exercise and trying things out. You can see through to what's underneath a little bit easier. So that will be another option for you. So we're just going to color them in. As you can see, there are going to be a lot of moving pieces as we move through the whole planning process. So what I'm going to suggest is that you get some of these plastic sleeves to hold your materials in. So you're going to have your planning circle facing one direction, and then on the back you will have all of your symbols, and in this case this was for the courtyard entry that we worked on already. So you can see they're still moving around, and you will have a copy of those symbols for each package. So you will need to copy these onto the transparencies and then cut them out, and put little pieces of tape on the back, and so you can see that they will be movable. You can just take them off and reposition them, so that's kind of handy. And I really like using the transparencies because you can see through to what's underneath. And I often find that underneath of a tree, for example, will be a forgotten area if it's a solid, kind of an opaque circle that you use. There are a lot of opportunities to do plantings for shade underneath of that tree, or maybe a bench. So I like to be able to see through. So we're not going to use these just on a piece of paper like I'm doing right now. It's very important that we have the context of the plan in order to set them up on the circles. So in preparation for doing the rest of the garden rooms, we might have the play area, for example, and on the back I've got my symbols already printed, and what I did was I cut them out and put the tape on and then put them on another piece of transparency. So now they're easy to see, easy to handle, they come off easily, as opposed to being on paper where they might stick. So I'm just having that all handy, ready to go in the sleeve, and I've done that for each room. And then we're going to go back to our base plan and our space and flow sketches and start to incorporate all of these into the plan. So you'll have several bundles of these. You're going to have a page for each room, and then all of the symbols are going to be ready to roll on the back. So I would highly encourage you to get really organized for this part, and it will flow so much easier. It is a little bit tedious to cut all these out and put little pieces of tape on the back, but it's so worth it. You're going to enjoy the process so much more. So we'll return when you have got your little parts and pieces all organized.